I am here in Honolulu, Hawaii, about 36 hours away from running the 50th marathon of the 50 States Marathon Challenge, the final marathon of 2024. My name is Wyatt Moss, and this year I took on an impossible challenge. I wanted to try to run a marathon in all 50 states. And at the start of the year, I didn't think it was possible. I posted the first video from Houston, and I said, you know what? Even if this is not possible, I'm still going to pull it off, because that's what we do here, right? Anything is possible with God. In this whole way, he's got his hand on this challenge. And so being here, number 50, is insane because it's here. The impossible goal has been achieved. You know, we're going to run number 50, push Nana in a wheelchair, and like my life has completely changed as a result of taking on this massive challenge. I think people like to see when people take on big challenges like this. They want to see people push the limits of what's possible. And so the encouragement that I've gotten from this challenge has been insane. And I was just now on my phone for the past hour going through direct messages. Earlier today, another hour. And, you know, all the time, I'm just overwhelmed with direct messages. You know, real people sending me a message saying, hey, I'm so inspired by this challenge. Keep pushing. You know, I can't wait to see you and your grandma across the finish line in Hawaii. We're cheering for you from Iowa, from Pennsylvania. I ran my first marathon because of the videos that you did. I check in every single week just to make sure that you're doing okay. We have there's one that I got. It was so funny. She was like, we have a weekly meeting, my girlfriend and I, and we make sure that Wyatt's doing good. Like it's a weekly Wyatt weekly Wyatt meeting. How crazy is that? You know, I didn't expect that whatsoever. I cried a bunch at Philly in the past couple of marathons, and I'll probably be crying sometime tomorrow or Sunday whenever I run the marathon. But I don't know. It's insane. I walked up to the expo today, and I just told one person, hey, can I ask someone about the wheelchairs? And then they connected me with this guy who knew who I was, and he connected me with the founder or the CEO or director of the marathon. And then the director of the marathon was like, hey, we're doing the opening ceremony tonight. You want to come light a torch for the marathon? Yeah. And so like I walk up there with 4 other people. One of the families, he had, he passed away, but his family was there. He had ran 47 Honolulu marathons. That's crazy. Another guy, he was a basketball player in the NBA, I believe, and he was like the mayor of Hawaii or something like that. That's insane, right? And then there's a guy who was the COO of Japan Airlines. And then this other guy who was like a premier sponsor of the event, whatever it was, he was like the CEO. And so to have my name up there amongst those guys, right, those people, and there was a lady who was up there as well, and I forget her story. But to be one of 5, to light the torch, to usher in the, Honolulu Marathon. I don't know. Life could be a dream, and it is a dream, right? Like, all this is fake. All this doesn't exist. We just came up with all of it, So that means that you can come up with whatever it is. This challenge isn't real, I've just decided to run a marathon in all 50 states this year. The 50 States Marathon Challenge. Boom. Fake idea. Now it's real. I'm going to see if the schedule is possible, right? And so I pulled together a schedule, and it took me 2 days to do it. It's like, wow, okay, so it's like logistically possible to pull off the marathon. Okay, well, financially, is it possible? And so I was like, all right, God, do you want me to do this? If so, then, make a way. And he made a way. It's like, okay, well, now I have the money to do this thing. How am I going to, run the first one? Well, I got to start training. All right, Lord, give me the strength so I can, train for the month of December. And then I show up to the first one, and I run a PR by 1 hour and 26 minutes, right? Like, one step at a time, you can pull off anything. You really can. The message I would want to get across, like the one thing for anyone who sees this video in the future and knows who I am, or like is learning about me because of the 50 States Marathon Challenge, because of the Hawaii Marathon, because of whatever I take on in the future, which I have no idea what that will be yet. The one thing I want to get across is like all it takes is you have to be bold enough to put the idea out there. And that's all it takes. To do anything in this life, you just have to have the confidence in yourself that, okay, I think I can do this, right? You have to be crazy enough, just a little bit crazy, to be able to say, this idea might be possible. And even if it's impossible right now, I'm still going to go after it because like it's definitely impossible if I don't even start. And so maybe it's really big, it's too big for me now, but in pursuit of this dream, I will become worthy of it. And so that's all that I need is just to get started. And so then in order to get started, I just need the confidence. I need to be bold enough to say, this is meant for me. I'm going to take on this challenge. No matter what it takes or where it takes me, I'm going to figure out how to make it happen. And so here we are. That's all you need is the confidence to get started because most people are stuck there. And for 10 years, 20 years, their entire life, they'll have this idea of what they could have been and they will never have started. And so you just need to have the confidence and the boldness to get started today with the smallest step possible. And once you have a small step and you start, slowly chipping away, eventually you can chip through a mountain, right? You can cut a hole through a mountain. They have tunnels. Tunnels exist. One rock at a time, you can chip away and get through the mountain. So yeah, I think that's it. Like, I have no idea who's going to watch this video. And I know that someone's going to watch this and they're going to be like, wow, if he can do it, I can do it too. Okay, so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try something crazy. And then hopefully you find a way to connect with me and tell me like, hey, I watched that video of yours and I got connected and, I had this idea and I pulled it off. My buddy and I, we raised $10 million for this charity or $10,000, right? It doesn't have to be an absurd amount of money. Like the mountain is whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have to be something that's like insane, like $10 million, right? You could be running one marathon. You could be running your first 5K, whatever it is. It's like start with something and then have an end goal in mind of just something that seems impossible. I know I can run a 5K. Okay, well, could I run one in every state? Could I run one every week for a year? Every day for a year? Could I run one in every continent, every country? Could I do a sub 18-minute 5K or a sub 30-minute 5K? Like whatever it is, it's just pursuit. Someone just reached out over the DMs and asked me if there's so many opportunities in DMs. It's insane. Men's Journal might be writing an article about me because I just checked my DMs, right? This girl's doing a philosophy paper on me because I checked my DMs, right? There's so many opportunities. People just don't take the time to sift through the opportunities. But anyways, she reached out and asked me a question is, what's your definition of success? And I said, pursuit. As long as you're in pursuit of a goal, because that means that you have a goal in mind. And then you're, by definition, pursuing it. Then you're moving up in the world. And so the definition of success is pursuit. In my opinion, as long as you're striving for something, you're set. And so then for me, I think part of the hesitation I have with this marathon challenge is that it's over. I'm going to run my 50th marathon in 36 hours. And then I'm done. And of course it's not done. This is a whole life, right? There's so much left to live. Is this still going? Wow, I'm surprised. I thought I'd run out of storage by now. There's a whole life to live. And so then, but now that I'm done with this challenge, what's the pursuit, right? How soon can I achieve the dream so I have the confidence to dream even bigger? Well, here we are. I've run a marathon in all 50 states. How soon can I achieve the dream? It's taken about a year, about 15 months since I had this idea. I had this idea back in October of 2023, right? So then maybe I had it, I don't know. I might figure out that I had it back when I ran my first marathon because I'm a little bit of a psychotic maniac. I probably ran my first marathon with no training and said, I'll run a marathon in all 50 states one day. And here we are, right? Once again, the boldness to say that I can do it, right? The people who change the world are the ones who are crazy enough to believe they actually can. So here we are. Not that I'm changing the world yet, but I am starting somewhere. And so then you're really only capped by your ability to dream big and then follow through on subsets of that dream, right? So then let's say my dream is to become the president of the United States. It is, right? 2036, the youngest one to ever run for the presidency. Okay, well, let me break that down into smaller pieces. Why do I want to do that? What would I have to do before that? All these different things of is this even possible? If I have to answer all those questions today, then the dream is impossible because that's not possible, right? For any person who walks the earth, that's impossible. one person every 4 years out of 350 million people get that position. That's impossible. But slowly, it becomes less and less impossible, and then more and more achievable. And then finally, one day, I'm sitting in the office. It's like, okay, well, what are the steps to get me there? Should I even like aim to do this? Like, what's the aim? I gotta first think that for whatever reason, the experience I've lived out in life merits me being the president. That way I can lead the rest of the United States to change the world in some meaningful way. Okay, so then that is my purpose with my life, is to become the type of person that would be able to lead a type of people that could make a change in the world. Okay, so then who's that person? Well, someone who's been through grueling challenges. Okay, physical challenges, mental challenges, whatever it is. Well, physically is probably best to do first, because anyone has access to a pair of shoes. So I can just go out there and get started running, because then I'm setting an example for people to just get out there and just start with a physical challenge. I think there's 3 pillars in your life. You've got the physical, mental, and then the spiritual, right? And so then as long as you're taking on a challenge in all 3 of those categories at all times, and you're kind of like simultaneously pursuing these